New level, new devil. Have you ever heard that saying? You should hear it now. Tell you now. It's like every time you get to a new plateau of something, oh, bug, I want to kill the bug. It's not time to. Today's supposed to be another day. This would be since day 19, my friend's birthday. Whatever day this is, I think this would be fourth day, perhaps. Not exactly sure. I didn't fully intend to arrive at what I'm trying to do in the way that you normally can arrive to something like that, because I intuitively took clues and then went went all in on the areas that were the most distorted um, regarding my family. I thought about it because I had already called my brother a pussy. I was ready to fucking kick his ass. Just kept getting into a loop, you know, because rather than have genuine empathy and hear out my situation, he's got this block on me where, because he keeps sympathizing for his ex that he left at the house. Just like yesterday, I got the text of, she's training her new replacement. She said she's probably gonna be fired in 4 weeks. Which I didn't respond to. I didn't respond to that. And if you think that, oh, you can't kick the poor girl out of the house. Yeah, you're right. I can't. I'm not. I'm not trying to do that. But there's been like 4 years where we've needed to sell this house. And then now, and the girl literally told me, my brother's ex-wife, I can't do anything. I'm like, that's not true. You could do something. You can't just say that you're stuck and you can't do nothing. I'm like, so what, you just gonna, it's not unreasonable to want what I get out of it when I need it. Like, I owe all kinds of rent. I have periodic jobs, but I'm going to be fucked and without a home if we don't resolve it. And my brother, I can't even talk to him and him tell me anything. He acts like I'm trying to tell him it's his fault, which is not even close to what I'm saying when I let him know what's going on. My brother, who doesn't drive at all, remembers me when I was in a position and made a lot of money, and he's envied me. My mom told me this, and I didn't believe her at first, but then I looked with the lens of what she was saying, and she was right. She was right. There's a lot of reasons why that is. Some of it has to do with he was premature, a little bit messed up. I think the cat just broke into my room violently. But they just kept stalling out because we were supposed to have it towards the end of this year. She had a boyfriend. They were going to move. Then the boyfriend ghosts her. My brother feels so bad about her, but what he's doing is he's taking all the empathy that he has. He should be giving some to his family and considering, hey, half of this is mine. And I'm not saying any other thing, then I really, really need it, or I'm not going to make it, you know? And nobody's pushing them out. Nobody's done nothing, other than suggest we need to do this. When I made arrangements to go there and help him clean the garage and like put in the work, he wasn't ready to do it. He doesn't want the help. That's not the help he wants. He doesn't really want to do it. And he's been saying he is. He talks to her. And this is these men that baby talk with their women. They get ran over and they get abused because they don't have their fathers teach them what my father taught me. Straight up. And I'm not saying anything wrong or bad about him. I'm just saying these men who baby talk their women, play sweetie pie and shit, and let their women run their lives, end up despising them. They don't love them. That's not love. That's not the way a man's supposed to be. That's weak man shit. It is. I've been trying to show him by example. I gave him a lot of pride for keeping his family together. And it just so happened that I had this dream and I saw shit the way it was. And in this dream, this non-advanced form of my brother was selling me out, getting me in a position to where I died so he'd be able to collect it all. Because rather than be honest and on the level with me that he doesn't know how to do, rather than let go of the jealousy and man up in the way, because I know how he is. I know how he is. The other guy that lives here, the same as him, the same way. That woman talked to him like a dog. I had to listen to this for however long, and I've already gone into it with my ex. I told her, I was like, that woman had the same birthday as you, but she had the evil spirit that I've experienced with you. I heard her talk to him, and then finally, she talked some shit to him about how he looked, about some hole in his shirt or some shit, and they ain't spoke since. It's been like 2 months now, and that lady, she's like into her 70s, old. The shit that he did for her, she needs somebody to do that. She's not going to be able to do this stuff for the wintertime. He did all kinds of shit for her. He doesn't have an interest in the world about like the yard and the land here, the same as my brother. My brother hasn't had no connection with nature, the natural world. It's all this fucking inside comfort shit. There's little to no actual interacting with nature. You have your pets and that's your window. Well, you know what? That doesn't really do it. And I've seen this effect that it has on him. And for my brother, he's just a city boy. He doesn't got no country in him at all. He wouldn't know what to fucking do. And it would save him. I tried to get them to come. It's a lot cheaper out here, but he doesn't even know how to do it. Because as much as I hate to say it, that's something we have the same. We don't like change. And he's been living in that house. And he was mad as hell that he had to share it with me. And he'd rather have me lose everything I have here, try to come and get me to be there, and then I would have even a worse state. Because I'm not trying to dwell into the house. We need to sell it, and we could move on with our lives. And he doesn't have a future living in that house. He doesn't have a family. He split his family up. And I honestly, I don't think he's staying there. I think he's mostly staying with his other girlfriend. So he's got his son. And this is not about kicking them out or anything like that. Because there's been plenty of time to sell it. And he already knows he's going to have to give her some money, you know? And I've told my ex, if I was able to take some of that money and get something and then be able to have a life with her, I would do it. I would do it. And I'm close to where I'm talking about it because I didn't like openly choose to leave her, but something did happen. Something did happen and it broke the trust. And I made an effort to go through and making it, I mean, seriously, to go through and look at what I did that was fucked up wrong from backwards, from the last thing forwards. And there was things I didn't remember that came up because I looked. I made myself available to look. That's part of deprogramming, and it's a continuing process. Do I want to just think, oh, I was fucked over or whatever? No. I think there's a victim going on. They've got the MK Ultra going on in their family. And she's like, oh, I'll just distance myself and not talk to them. They're like married into the system, the state. You see, because I asked her, I was like, hold on. I was like, the police, we got into this argument fight, and it was completely fucked up, actually, the way it was, because I was over there and I was trying to clean the house and vacuum the floor. Her dad wasn't there. It was me and my son, my oldest son. And when I went to try to vacuum, the vacuum didn't work. I went to go clean the bag out on the balcony, unzipped it. Fucking pills came out of it. All these pills, they fell down to the second, from the second to the into the grass. There's fucking little narco yellow pills all over there. So I run down there trying to put them back in there. Now I know why the vacuum's not working. This is his hiding spot. And what is another asshole thing that I said I got to account for? I'm like, oh, I see where you're hiding it from, because I was talking shit about her. Well, who's not vacuuming the floor? I'll put them in here because I know she is not going to use the vacuum. That's another asshole thing I said about her, and that's not true. That's not right. But that's just that anger. It's that anger. And I went to let it go. But because look, I left because she started attacking me in the head and asking me for the Xanax. Where's the Xanax? That's exactly what happened. When I'm putting them in, they pulled up and then she starts hitting me upside my head. Nobody asked me nothing. They didn't ask me shit. That's exactly what happened. And that's the thing that she would need to look at, that she doesn't know or doesn't remember. And that's the thing where you have to choose. The state, her dad, that man killed 7 women and never really did anything. One of them was her mom. You know what I mean? When the system's using you and you're bought into it, you're sold. Your soul is gone. You're sold. And the way that they did, because they left their jurisdiction and came into another one and into my mom's house and tasered me on my floor while I was asleep on it. And my son was there. He was in the room with my mom asleep. And he's the one that has the biggest problem with all this, because I know, and I'm not going to go into it with him, but he's like, something's not right here. So he's still mad about it. I've got pictures of him where he came here and we spent all this time, and the shit that I'm talking about happened before that. So somehow it's all turned around in the mind. And I tell you why. because she hasn't faced the fact that I asked her, I was like, do you know what you did? Do you know what you told them on the stand? It wasn't just that. I choked her out on the balcony with a fucking bamboo stick. None of that shit happened. None of it. And she sort of brushed it off like she didn't know. And of course, if it didn't happen to you in that way, and then how do you think the police are able to go into another jurisdiction? Why didn't they just have Houston arrest me? Why did they come like cowboys fucking charging off into my place? Because when they called the police, they had agreed to say. That's the part that if we don't get past that, if she didn't look at that, there's really nothing to talk about, because it doesn't show that she gives a shit about my son, who was there. He was there when it happened to me. And he's got to know that. He's not dumb. He's psychic. I'm not saying he needs to have it all put in his face. Obviously, that's not the way I don't give a fuck about that. And I didn't really give a fuck about this. I would have loved to have just let it go. But the last time I asked her, I was like, do you know? Do you not know? She brushed it off. And that's why I'm able to continue to be like, this is the MK Ultra. Because that's the shit. And she told me she quit talking to her parents. And then now she's saying that she is talking to them. And I'm not about burning bridges. I'm not. But then she told me some shit. She was trying to tell me that her mom, who never gave any of the messages the whole time, according to her, never sent any of the messages because I didn't have a number for her. And I was trying to keep the number for when the event happened that my dad died, that they would be able to come and, be able to either whatever, and she's asking me last night about, how come Trish had a text saying don't tell me. I'm like, why would she have a text saying that? I'm like, the only reason why I even talked to her was to keep the channel open for us to communicate. And you're the one that's saying she doesn't tell you nothing. So suddenly she's saying that there's a text. She either showed her a text, and I how can you if it don't exist? How could you? And she said, well, she told me at a birthday party. That's the way they do this stuff. And it's not her. It's her family. And her mom's soul, which is her aunt, she's going to have to deal with that when it comes time with the Lord. But the leader of that family, the darkest one, the dad, the Navy guy, who's just a monster, is behind all that training, all that put on your game face bullshit, tuck in your real feelings, or throw a fit about some nuanced shit while you ignore the actual truth. You can't just try to live staying in the lines and dismiss the actual power of the spirit. You can't try to live in the left brain and just deny the other part. But the whole time, like, even early on when I stayed over there, I had night terrors. And I might have been kicking her in the sleep or whatever. I was having a nightmare and woke up out of it. And would you believe they all came in there and they asked her, do you want us to call the police? They were ready to cut the head off of her family, and she was with them the whole time. And she never acknowledged it. Rarely did she even try to hold herself back from being violent. Not at all. And it's embedded into her to think that she can play the victim. And I don't. I'm gonna try to help her just to see, because if it's gonna destroy her, it is. This shit that I said, I seen this video and I listened to it, and it was describing our whole situation, and it was talking about her new husband and what he actually was going to end up doing to her. And then when I talked to her, that's exactly what was going on. And I wasn't going to sit back and let her. I texted her and told her, heads up for the year, because I knew that this was going to happen. But she gave me the heads up, trying to be an asshole or whatever, by saying, hey, you need to take responsibility for what you did. And I did. I went back and I looked at all the shit. I remembered some stuff. I went backwards in time from the last thing to the present. And there's a lot of reasons why that's significant. But I got to do it. Alone, I went and looked and saw where I did fucked up shit. And that's what brought me back. Because, see, she helped me. I called her about my son who just stopped talking. No more text from him. And she's like, oh, well, he knows. He's got a good heart. He knows. As if to say that I'm a bad person, and he's got good judgment, and he knows that. And that's chicken shit, number one. And probably at the time, she probably could take that position. You know, maybe things were going nice for her. Maybe that's the way she felt. But it's not really the way that she feels. It's not. And I've come back and I've been honest with her, and I've apologized and I made amends for what I did, that I know that I did wrong, that I didn't know then. I didn't realize. And that stuff's just in the attitude and the mindset that causes you not to be aware. And I want her to have that awareness. Because if you don't have the passion for the truth at all, you know, it'd be like, could she reverse that, and could I tell her the same thing? Well, no, it wouldn't. That wouldn't work, and it wouldn't be the right way anyway. But I did what she said, and I realized that to some degree, if that's what she wanted to say, when I called for help to find out if my son had blocked me, what I needed to do, because she didn't want to talk to me, which I wanted to for the kid. You know, she wasn't interested in doing that. So what am I? Am I just supposed to just lose my relation because of this? Nobody ever came on their own. Nobody ever called on their own. She ghosted us. We didn't hear nothing from her. And she's mad at me about why I didn't tell her about my dad. Where the hell were you? I told you after he died. I didn't have enough time for you to come and be at his bedside. He died fast. It was like 6 days, and that was it. I was worried about fucking keeping his fucking diaper changed and figuring out how to move his ass and bathe him. Not about you. I wasn't. I didn't. But the moment that he died, I did. And I'd secured that line to do that to her mom. And I don't know what the fuck her mom's told her. I don't know if she's not telling me the truth about that because she wasn't interested. It could be whatever. But she hasn't acknowledged it yet. She hasn't acknowledged that these people, that she called the cops. So she's talked to them. So if she didn't get up there and arrange the story, because they said I was arrested there, because it's illegal to do what they did. They just changed the story. They didn't do that on their own. She participated at some level or not. And if she doesn't own it, then it's not redeemable. It's not. I've had to pay a lot for this, and I know what I did wrong in it, but to get that person to look and see, like, if you choose those people, if you choose this relationship that you have with the spirit like that, then not even caring that, they completely, I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know what the fuck until actually I was on trial, and I won my trial. I got up there against my fucking lawyer's wishes, and I told them exactly what I experienced firsthand. It made me cry. It sucked. It wasn't fun. It wasn't like I did something. I went. They were gonna try to make it like I went to beat people up and all kinds of shit. That's not even what happened. And the most fucked up thing is that when the event happened to where we were fighting, because her dad attacked me. He hit me, and then I knocked the shit out of him, and he went into the window glass, broke it, so he was all cut. I was like, oh fuck. I took off. I ran. I ran so fast down to get in my car and get out of there. I didn't even have my wallet. It was in my son's room. I had to run back up there and get my wallet and then fucking burn off. But I went to my mom's house, passed out asleep on the floor, and then their cops from that area came, the ones that they got to call and probably be like, look what he did to me. Because that's who her dad was. Look what he did to me. That man put his hands on me. I didn't do nothing. And she ran into the bathroom and locked the door. And everything that she said on the stand was a lie. Because she went into the bathroom and locked the door. I remember it clearer than fuck. I can't unremember it. It they were trying to put me in jail for 20 fucking years if I didn't take 4. And if you want to be that person, if you need to feel that you're safe and protected, safe and sound, that you don't have any obligation to be fucking protecting your family, the head of your family, to where you can just sell them out over some shit, you know. You can get violent and attack, but then if you get hurt, you're going to call the cops. You know, they programmed that into her. She's not seen it or recognized it yet. I beat the fuck out of my brother. She was on the phone talking to somebody at my grandma's house, acting like somebody was doing something to her. My brother caught her and he tried to pull the phone away from her, but I saw that and I beat the fuck out of my brother. And I feel so bad about it because I just pounded the shit out of him. And if she was doing that and he saw that, I feel so horrible. But she's got to fucking get a handle on that. She has to, because if not, then I mean, I don't want to lose this person again. You know what I mean? But it's about time because they've grown the fuck up. They're not this young and immature as they used to be. They should be able to do this now. At least look at it and be like, why? Why would you want to have that unconscious block? Why wouldn't you just want to have sovereignty over your own self to be like, I'm going to do this and not that? You know, you're going to let the state take care of you. You're going to let the state be your defender, the deep state, the ones that programs people and child traffics and does all that evil shit. Because the family's fucking involved with that. The family's involved with that. I'm not saying she is, but she doesn't know how deep the rabbit hole goes. And she'd like to tell you like she does. And I'm sorry, but she doesn't. Because they had a role for me too in relation to her, the man and the woman for the New World Order. They have you're supposed to be the handler for shit. Oh, but you don't want to go along with it? You don't want to keep the secrets. You don't want to keep the secrets. You want to look for truth, and you want to because Satan runs this world. It's like the same thing with the Jews. Like that nation, that whatever the fuck is the secular part of that nation, that's not really them. That's what Jesus was talking about. Those people that do that. It's like you pretend to be Jews, but you're serpents, like your father Satan. Satanism rules our world. We're just passing through here. And there's nothing you can do about that but know it. That's why you have all the people that are upset with Trump, like myself. But notice this. Everyone's calling him to account that voted for him. We're all, that ain't right about this shit. Like, you're fucking up. Like the Epstein files. You're fucking up. The relation, all this funding and stuff to Israel while they genocide people next door. You're fucking up. And see, one side of the political process will call the guy we voted for in on shit. But do you think they would do that for Kamala? No. They would go along with everything that she says. They wouldn't push back on shit. They don't push back on, oh, that guy's got dementia. Nope, can't admit that. They pretend like their party is perfect and can do no wrong, which is not the way to have an America. And Trump won't be a president again, but they're not going to be able to win the elections if they keep going the way that they're going. They're fucking it up. They're fucking it up. And you know the president only has so much power anyway. That's all I'm going to say. I might have to share this with her because I don't know if I can get into it. I'd rather her just know this way because I don't want to lose the person again, because then I lose my link to my kids, and it's not right. There's nobody that loves this woman more than I love her. It's not that big of a deal to come to terms with something that's on your end, what's not right, and just kept growing and getting worse. Kept growing and getting worse. And then now not to know it, not to know. I'd rather you just find out than lie to yourself, act like you don't know, you don't remember what you said. Well, I remember, and I remember what happened. And that's the biggest break from fucking truth I've ever seen in my life. Straight up. And I seek the truth. I want to know. And I know I'm not perfect. I know damn good and well I'm not even close to perfect. But if you're going to sell me out and you're married to the devil, more or less, you've given yourself over to Satan and think it's the Lord, the system, the cabal. It doesn't matter if you talk to your family or not, because they done did the work early on that messed you up. And I've been the advocate for this person the whole time. I'm not against them, but I think that they need to look at that now, because I see how it affects my son. He was still so mad about this. Like, how are you so mad about something that happened before the last time you saw me? And that's part of why he stopped talking. How can he reconcile it? He was there. He's there. He was right 15 feet away from where they're shocking his dad asleep which is illegal as fuck, number one. And then they put a charge on you that you attacked them because that's the only way they're allowed to taser you. And they tasered me on the floor when I was asleep. I had 4 burns, big ass needle burns, because they shoot the thing at you. Nobody's ever done her like that. Nobody's ever done her like that. And I don't want her to have to pay the karma for that. When the way around it is so much easier. Just to recognize that that system doesn't have your back. It wants you to play ball. And the reason why they do stuff like that for you is because you're in the club that you're not aware of by default and relation to your family. And that when you make that first determined term, when you break and you don't commit to lying anymore, then you can assure yourself a shot at a family and at freedom. Because you shouldn't have to connive and backstab and you shouldn't have your partner do that to you with not a care in the world. Oh, I'm going to send you to jail. Well, what good is it to send your own self to jail? Your own breadwinner, to take them out of the game. What sense is that? Does that make any sense? It doesn't. It's never even been a thought in her mind.